Great Challenge. Welcome back to the apparently very popular vintage kitchen in which I cook vintage recipes. I've decided to do this as an ongoing series. It's not going to be posted every, Wednesday or anything, maybe every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks. I think it's super fun to do. Why? Well, first of all, I'm interested in anything vintage, in particular the 40s and the 50s. It's always an era that's fascinated me, whether it's design-wise or with regards to clothing. Just in general, that era is absolutely fascinating to me. And you know that I kind of like vintage stuff. I like vintage decorative items, I like vintage clothing. I'm trying to make my own clothes with the intention of doing what some of you consider dated, but for me it's really cool. Vintage clothes and dresses and stuff like that. So anyway, I've decided to do some vintage cooking. Why? Well, first of all, it takes me out of the ronron of making the same stuff, Taco Tuesday, Hamburger Thursday, Pizza Friday. I'm trying to bring in a little bit of variety, and I also want to try true Americana recipes that people either remember from their childhood or never heard of before. So I'm doing a little bit of research and I'm learning a ton of stuff. So today we're doing something called Williamsburg Pork. I have never heard of Williamsburg Pork before, and to be honest, I couldn't even find it online, but I did find it in a book I'm going to share with you in a second. But just a disclaimer, yes, there is meat and it's pork. You can do chicken instead. You can swap the white meat. I will do recipes that don't require meat. It's just so happened that I have pork chops in the fridge that have been defrosted and I need to use them. So I'm going to do that today. And this is where I got it from. This is a recipe from the GFWC Centenial Cookbook. And GFWC stands, for those of you who don't know, for the General Federation of Women's Clubs of America. Back in the days, ladies didn't work, and they belonged to a lot of clubs, and they still do. They probably have less and less clubs now, but they used to share the recipes. And this particular club, the Federation of Women's Club, has been around since 1890, and they still have their building in Washington, D.C., so it's still an ongoing thing. But somewhere around 1990, they've decided to issue a centennial cooking book sharing all the recipes from everybody who's been part of the club. So of course they had newer ladies who brought in newer recipes, and they had older ladies, or ladies with ton of wisdom, as I would prefer to say, who shared the recipes, and some of those recipes could very well be passed me down from their grandmother. So I found this one, and it's called Williamsburg Pork, and I'm really crazy. I want to Google the lady. This is a recipe by Ellen C. Hammack of Los Alamitos, California. I put her name right here. So of course I had to Google her because I wanted to know, one, is she still around? And two, how old is this lady? Well, if Helen is still alive, she would be 109 years old today. And remember, they asked for those recipes 2 years prior to 1990. So she was already in her late 60s, early 70s when she gave them her recipe. And the recipe, are you ready for this? You're gonna be horrified, and that's exactly why I picked it up, other than the fact that it has pork that I needed to use. It's pork with peanut butter, y'all. That's the secret ingredient. So I did a little bit further research because this is crazy, pork and peanut butter. I've had pork with applesauce, which I think is delicious, by the way. Or if you go to Cracker Barrel, they have it. You can buy the little apple, dish to go with your pork chops. So I did a little bit research because I needed to kind of date this particular recipe. All right, peanut butter was not introduced until 1904 at the Universal Exhibit, and it became a household staple after World War I. During World War I, they didn't have much meat, okay? particularly for the soldiers. So the soldiers who went to the war in Europe for World War I had a lot of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches because it replaced meat basically for the protein, the fat, and all of that. So when they came back home, that's when peanut butter really took off. So let's say it's the 20s, now we're in the 30s, okay? And this recipe is also requesting a cream of mushroom soup. So if you do the calculation, and you're making ramen now? Or whatever. Yeah. Okay. He's a teenager. They can eat whatever they want.
And I'm in college now. This is technically
oh yeah, today was
snack.
his, it's a legal snack now, okay.
Yeah.
Today was his first day in college.
Yep.
So anyway, so if the lady is 109 years old today, and the Campbell soup was invented in 34, right? In 1940, she would be 29, probably, you know, new mom living in the house, making food and cooking recipes for her husband and the kids. So I'd say maybe this recipe is from 1940 or 1950. Wouldn't it be something? So I'm excited. I don't know what it's going to taste like. And that's the great part about doing those vintage recipes, is that some of them, like anything with liver, probably taste delicious. Yeah, I do like liver. But anything with cabbage for me would be cool. I don't like cabbage. But pork chops and cream of mushroom and peanut butter, that's something else. We gotta try it. It looks really easy to make. It doesn't take long to make. The oven just rang. It's at 300 degrees. So preheat your oven at 300. And here we go. I'm giving you the list of ingredients for Williamsburg Pork by the great almighty Helen C. Hammock of Los Alamitos, California. So here we go. First of all, ingredients: you need some thick pork chops, not the tiny ones, thick pork chops. I have 6. This recipe is for 4, so I'm only gonna do 4. You need 1 large onion. You're going to need 1/4 cup of peanut butter, and this one is once again unsweetened peanut butter. I prefer unsweetened peanut butter because a little goes a long way and it tastes just as good. This one is the one we use at the house when I make my peanut butter sandwich with bananas. It's really, really good. So 1/4 cup of this. You will need 1 teaspoon of, let me try this now, Worcestershire sauce. This one, the W sauce. Okay, I can never pronounce this. I think it's Worcestershire. I sound ridiculous, I know. For the sauce, you'll need 1 cup of milk. That's pretty much 4 ounces. Here we go. Now the recipe also asks for a teaspoon of salt. To me, that's a huge amount of salt. I mean, I really don't eat salty at all. So for me, it's way too much, so I'm just gonna put a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. But if you want the saltiness, go ahead and put a full teaspoon. And the last ingredient is Campbell cream of mushroom. Now, if you don't have Campbell cream of mushroom concentrate soup in your country, it's easy to replace. You just basically saute a bunch of chopped up mushroom with a little bit of vegetable broth and add some cream to it. That's it. So let's get started. First things first, we're going to brown the pork chops, and I'm just using sunflower oil. You can use any kind of vegetable oil you want. And yes, this is a Corningware. So you want to brown the pork chops. Obviously you don't want to cook them all the way through. If you want to, you can trim some of the fat. I personally prefer to keep it because added goodness. go ahead and slice my onion, and I just want to slice it, not chop it. So we don't want little cubes. We want either rings or, you know, pieces of onions that are a good size. So now I'm going to prepare the garnish for the dish. So the recipe calls for you to just put your onions directly over your pork chops. Now we're putting peanut butter over it. And remember, for peanut butter we need the equivalent of 1/4 of a cup total. So you divide that in 4, and each pork chop gets a good spoonful of peanut butter. That looks like such a weird recipe. I'm telling you, I am super eager to try it because I have never had anything like this. Now I have to prepare the sauce. So I'm opening my cream of mushroom. I don't know which one is your favorite soup, but I love anything that is a squash, butternut, sweet potato, all of those fall soups. But my absolute favorite of all time is sorrel soup. I don't think a lot of people know about sorrel soup with heavy cream. It's my glass of milk. Adding the salt. Remember, I put a little bit less salt. And the last ingredient for the sauce is 1 teaspoon of Worcestershire, you know which one I'm talking about, sauce. And whisk everything together. I can't wait to try this. That sounds like a crazy idea, peanut butter and pork. Who comes up with stuff like that? I wonder if it started as an accident, you know, the toddler dropped this peanut butter inside the pork dish and grandma decided to just go along with it. I don't know. And I'm just gonna go ahead and place my sauce all over my dish. Cover, and this goes in the oven for 4 hours. Remember, the oven is at 300 degrees. So it's basically a casserole dish. So I'll see you in an hour. So yeah, you put it in the oven for an hour and that's it. This is super easy to make. I am very intrigued as to what it's going to taste like. It seems to be such unlikely ingredients to put together. But tastes have changed, and that's what I like about those vintage recipes, is that they have ingredients that we wouldn't even think of putting together now. So I tell you what, I'm going to relax for an hour, finish my tea, and then when I come back, Edward and I will test it again. You're probably wondering, how am I serving it? I have green vegetable salad and basmati rice. That's what that's how I'm going to serve it tonight. It's not too late, you know. If you know my channel, we eat late in this house. We usually eat around 8:30, and right now it is 7:30 or so. So it's just perfect and on time. I'll see you in a bit. So here we go. It's been 1 hour, and I'm going to have Edward test it for us.
What is that?
It looks like a cake.
It's not a cake.
It looks like a cake.
Okay, but it's not a cake. Here we go. This is Williamsburg pork, and it's cooked all the way through. Peanut butter on top. I'm going to give a little bite to Edward and he's going to test it for us. All right, you ready? Williamsburg pork, we're trying it. Stop playing the blasé. It's actually pretty good.
It's alright, yeah.
It's alright. You gonna finish it?
Yeah.
You want more?
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. Okay.
It looks weird, but
it looks
pretty good.
weird, but it's actually pretty good. You don't really taste the mushrooms, do you?
No, I taste more of the peanut butter.
Right? You taste the peanut butter and not so much the mushroom. This is actually really good.
Where is this made?
Williamsburg, Virginia.
Never heard
Do
of
they
it.
do a lot of peanuts in Virginia? I guess they do. He's having thirds, y'all.
Having thirds. I gotta read. I need food to read. No, I don't, but
So you like it?
concentrate. What?
You like it, huh?
It's alright.
It's all right. Okay. I tell you what, guys. This is actually really good. It's not heavy at all. It's the peanut butter and the onions together is a really nice combination. I'm very surprised. I thought this was going to be completely ridiculous. It's not. This is actually really good.
Cuatro más.
He's having fourth. All right.
I said it right?
Quatre fois. Quatrième fois. All right, go finish it. There's 3 more. You can have mine. Don't worry. I'll eat something else. Anyway, that's it.
It's not bad.
It's not bad, he says.
Too much peanut butter, though.
Huh? There's too much?
A little bit.
Let's just scrape it off.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
You have to be a peanut butter fan. This was a success. I like it. I actually like it. I was concerned it was going to be really gross as a combination, but it's not at all. And the recipe made it to the book anyway, so obviously it's a good recipe. So I give it 2 thumbs up. I encourage you to make it. Try it. Just try it. I would personally saute the onions first a little bit before you put them in there, because right now they just feel like they've been boiled like in a mushroom soup. It probably would taste even better if the onions were caramelized. You still eating it?
Yeah, do that thing with the onions.
Do that thing with the onions, it says next time. I'm remaking this. I'm definitely gonna remake it. So this was my vintage recipe for this video. I hope you enjoy it. Hey, down below, let me know if you did the Ritzy chicken from last time and if you plan on trying this recipe, or if you ever heard of such a thing as pork chops with peanut butter in a mushroom cream sauce, because it just sounds crazy, but it's actually very tasty. I talk to you later, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Later.
He's still eating. Hey, it's me, and guess what? Click that thumbs up if you really like this video. Thumbs down twice if you didn't. You can also share my video if you really liked it, or save it to watch later. Also, you can subscribe to my channel, but don't forget to click that bell button so you are always notified when I post a new video. Thank you for watching.